Hi everybody, I'm here and I'm sorry if I worried anybody because it's been so long since I did a video, but lots of things were happening and we're all fine. That's the main thing. Mom's fine. She's doing her thing with her puzzles and her knitting downstairs right now, and I'm fine. June 13th, I became 3/4 of a century. So my brother said in my birthday card, so, oh boy, that's a shock. I know there's lots of you out there been there, close to that, or are there. Well, it's 1 year. I'm glad to see the end of this birthday year, the start of this new one. So, but anyway, I want to share. There's only a few orchids left in the house. They're all outside, and we're going to have a look at those and what I've been doing. Sometimes I feel rushed and I water a quick way, and when they're outside, it's pretty easy to do that. So I do want to show you the 3 orchids I got from Georgia and how they're doing. And Georgia, I hope you're okay. I haven't heard from you, and I do worry about you too. My prayers are with you. So anyway, I do want to show Georgia an update on the orchids I got and from her. The 3 orchids that came from Roehampton. And this was Tingshin Blue Jay. We'll just say Blue Jay. Blue Jay's nice. And Blue Jay, look at the leaves. And a nice new leaf coming. And look at, it's even still got one of its original little baby leaves. So this one is doing really good. And I think it has mottled leaves. They all seem to be a little mottled. And so she is doing good. And yes, she was changed from moss to bark. So, and the roots inside, it was watering day. So everything's dripping a little bit today. So, we'll put her there. And the other one, this one was, some of these, I think it's sweet anyway, and she is sweet. Now, there's no new leaves on this one, and the leaves are still, this one got a little soft, and it did take a change, but it seems to, he's got a little root poking out here, so it seems to be getting used. And there's another new root, right? Let me see, right there. So it's getting used to it. Some of them take a little longer than other. You can give each orchid the same care, and one will just be different. And another one that's just kind of different, I put in the window. I'm going to get it. And this was Fell Black Marble. And it's got a nice new leaf coming, which is good, and the leaves are firm. I've still got this one flower, which very soon I'm going to cut off. And I'm going to cut it to the medium because until it's what I call good and healthy, I like to keep them low. And I never used to leave the stem on, but I'll show you some outside that now I have because they're very healthy. Now this one, I was worried about, and I've secluded it by itself in the north window for now, because I saw some white stuff on it, and I sprayed it with hydrogen peroxide and washed it good, and nobody else had any, and I've never had any white stuff on my leaves in all the years I've had orchids. I don't know what it was, but I've been keeping an eye on it, and if I see any more, I'll let you know. So that is in seclusion, away from everybody. Now, the 3 orchids I got from Rosemary. Now, this was Burgundy Smile After Dark, and it's growing like a weed. It really is doing well. And it was my experiment to see how it did with the water well. I didn't water this one today because it got watered yesterday. And so far, so good. It's growing good with its situation, and I did change it to bark, and it has not slowed it down. So, and the other one I got from Rosemary from Mother's Day was Barred Sweet Sister My Love. And some people grow these outside if you live in a good climate. And there was a little one in the package that was separate, and I popped it in the pot, and it's got new leaves, and it's growing like crazy. And there's another one come up here. And I have never had one of these, but there's little roots coming out of the stems, so you guys will have to let me know how you do them. But yes, this one went to bark, and it's doing really well too. And the other one from Rosemary is here, and it's still in the original little pot because it was in bark, and has tiny little roots, and it seems fine. And the name was Lavender Picote. So there. Now I've cut all the flowers off of most of my orchids last week, and I'm going to show you outside. Now this orchid, if I didn't know better, I'd say it was an artificial orchid. I got this orchid. It was the first one that I've had come in bark. It was very healthy. The video on it was done on April 13th. And it has not changed. Nothing has changed. It's just all flowers, beautiful. None are limp. None are looking to be limp. It actually has a new leaf. I was worried. I thought there's a tiny little leaf coming in there if I can get it. I thought, is it okay? I even peeked in there. It seemed okay, but it came in bark, so I put it into my bark. I did repot it, but in my bark with some of their bark. And I thought, gee, is it alive? Like it's staying like this. It's just amazing. It's so nice when you get one in bark. And this one I'm keeping in, and we're enjoying it being in flower. And I had all my ones I cut off in a vase on a table. And this is the last of them. So I've been enjoying them. And my big lip, which is here, of course I know it's wet. A few years ago it got too much sun and the leaves got issues. And I am about to cut the stem off of this one, and I'm going to take it real all the way down to just above the last little, I leave about an inch or so. So just above that last little notch. So I'll be cutting this one off. So she's been doing, it has one limp flower. So I figured it's time. So I'm going to take you outside now and show you a few neat things out there, and continue with this in a minute. So what I did this morning is I took all the orchids that were in this patio, because it's all screened in to stop the bugs from jumping on things, and we've had a very strange weather because we had all that hot, dry weather, And now we got summer and spring and summer. So it's been cooler and I'm not complaining. It's been really nice with a few showers here and there and overcast. And actually it was to 51. It was cool. We went out to lunch one day and sat by the fireplace. Oh boy. And so this morning it was quick. So what I did was I just brought all the orchids out here, and I have a sink in here, and I just used my watering jug and ran around and watered them. And what I want to do is I'm just going to take the camera off the stand. I'm going to show you some close-ups of some things that are happening. Boy, it's nice to feel that sun on your back. Yeah. So here's the cymbidium. Rosemary has hers. Her pot was changed to a plastic pot too because it was better. And somebody did point out that because the clay ones, the roots will stick and it'll be another mess. So I haven't cleaned this up. All this will be cleaned up, but I'm waiting for it to establish. It has one of its new sprouts here still coming, and I keep it on the east side. I'll show you where I keep it, because this is the morning sun facing towards the house, the east, and I used to keep it where the barbecue is, but now I keep it right down here. So it does get a few little bugs because they're always outside, but it gets the morning sun, but the house shades it from that hot afternoon sun. But it's always bright. So we got things covered because we've had rain. And I got 2 cucumbers in the garden. I got some coming there, and a few tomatoes coming. So that's where it's been, and I think it started to perk up. They do like to get some real sun. All this will be cleaned up when I feel the plant is ready for it. So that's why I left that. So on this table, we got some losing a leaf pretty soon, some getting a leaf. This was my oldest orchid, and it's got a nice new leaf. The others have been very nice and healthy looking. And here we have Patio Charles Martin, and it's been doing really well. It's got good roots, nice leaves. And my mini mart had been suffering. This leaf's looking a little darker and a little firmer, and I'm liking that because her root system is good. I'm not worried about roots. They're poking out all over, so the plant itself is taking some time. And this was a mini orchid I got at the grocery store. Came in moss, and I got that this just late last year. And it's perked up. And the dendrobium, it has, I think it took a change in the weather and it decided to give me some cakeys here and here. But there's lots of new sprouts coming down inside. So we hope we get some flowers. It sure treated me good this year. And here is the one in glass. I have to admit, I'm so happy with this one. I would try it again. So it was watering day, and it has a nice new leaf. The leaves are really happy, and so are the roots. I don't leave it in the sun. It's out here, and after the video I'll be putting it away. And here's Georgia Pearl, because it's one of the first orchids Georgia sent me. And this leaf did suffer. It showed some stress, but there's a nice new leaf coming, and so she's doing good. And look at the thickness of the roots on this one. Look at this. And a nice new leaf coming. So we are getting some new leaves. Now the experiment ones, whoops, I'm not going to brag about, but that one is getting a new leaf, and this is the one that water should be drained out of that. I'll dab it out when I bring it in. So we're not sure. And my basket, which I love, they're all getting new leaves. This one, this one, this one. Yeah, this should be really beautiful when it flowers the next time. And these are my two twins I potted together. And I have left their spike on because they have lots of leaves, and we'll see how that goes. And here, another one. Roots are very healthy, and I have left a spike on that one. Same here. Now this leaf did suffer. It's new, but it just didn't seem as thick as it should be. But it's got lots of leaves, so, and the roots are good, so I've left its spike on. I mean, look at down the pot. I love my traffic cones. Look at these roots. I like them like that. So, and another traffic cone, growing good roots, a nice new leaf. I've left the spike on that one because it has enough leaves. And you can see it's not a pot all the way down as such, to about here. The rest is open, but the roots seem to like it like that. And here we have this one. Has a new leaf. And this one has a new leaf. And this one has a nice, that's what I like to see, a nice wide new leaf. So basically we're just watching them grow. And these have been in this Monai pot forever. They've just flowered and flowered and flowered. And they're getting nice new leaves. You can see. But there were so many old ones cut off. And likes the pot. And we got new leaf coming here. And another new leaf coming. And these two were suffering, but this one's getting a new leaf. Oops. I see some scale right there on this one. Might be why that one's suffering. Now I should open this one up and clean it off again and then put it back in some fresh bark. So I'm just going to set that one aside. Catch it while it's little. So that's about it. And I haven't opened the greenhouse. And I'm going to show you. We got a few spring flowers out. And over here, I haven't done a lot of weeding. You know, some days you feel like it and some days you don't. So I've got these two pots here with tomatoes coming. These are going to be Romas. And over here I have beefsteak, brandy wine coming. And here's my large lilies coming. They're late. They're usually out in the spring. The weather's backwards. But they're so beautiful. There, and I'll show you the garden. I picked 2 cucumbers the other day. They were delicious. And the garlic is just about ready to pull. I'm going to be picking the tops off because we'll heat them up and cook them. So here's where I picked my cucumbers. And I see green tomatoes out there. Tomatoes, onions, beets, cabbage. And time to pick raspberries. So I'm going to show you in the greenhouse now. I haven't even washed my pots from the spring because we did have company. And we have more company coming the end of July, but they have rented a place. And it's going to be kind of a large family gathering. So, okay, as you remember, I took the pond out of here, and the only water I have sitting in here now is in this big container. So I took the water out, and this one pepper plant's doing really good. And now it's been so cool. The cantaloupe and melons out in the garden are doing terrible, but look at these. I put that snow fence and they're crawling up. And I think, are going to have some really nice melons and cantaloupe. And I just planted them in this is our ground. That used to be a hole dug in the ground for the pond. So the lemon and orange tree look healthy. They've been getting lots of new leaves because they froze in the winter. So that's looking good. And I marked this because places where there's rocks, I use just straight vinegar to kill weeds. And if you do it in the hot sun, it does work. Doesn't it, Maggie? So, sorry about the mess in here. I'd have just been a little slow at getting everything caught up. But, oh, I can take this weather. I have no trouble taking this weather. Yeah. I'll take a peek down here. Maybe make it a little longer, but we should go to the front, and I should show you. I used to have geraniums, but they all froze. I had kept them for years, and they all froze in the greenhouse. But so this year I started some seeds, and I do have to. You stay, Maggie. Go back in. In you go. In you go. Get in there. She's gonna bark. No barking either. Try and be good. Sorry if she barks, but she's Mommy's little girl. No barking. We're going to get lots of apples on one tree, none on the others. No barking. No. She's such a good girl. Okay. This is what's happening here now. My hibiscus, it did lose some branches in the cold winter. Yucca, I believe. And over here, remember I picked that stand up at a garage sale and painted it. And I got petunias there. And we moved our big brown pot. Now, that white stand I got for $3 at a garage sale. And the same with the fountain. I don't know, we paid $5 or $10 for it. And it was working, so we put it on the stand, and you can see it from the road. Here I got snapdragon seeds coming. And I bought 3 new geraniums and some petunias for here. Time to come and do some work. I love the fluorescent color. They're just so pretty. I got those geraniums at the same place I got my cactus, and I'll be back with that video with my little cactus flowering soon. So let's go down. I have to show you this. So yes, I instead of a pot of geraniums in the wagon, I got zinnias this year from seed, and there's snapdragons coming and a few others. Can't see what I'm getting, but I got the lady and her bike. And the big lamp we made out of the chicken wire, it lights up every night. And it lights up the whole situation. So we've been working in the garage, and it's been a big job. Made a little more room for the new car we got. It's used, but it's new to us, and I think we needed it. So thanks very much for joining me, and I'll come back sooner next time. I love you all, and thanks for keeping me company today.